if you have an average everyday insurance company, you expect less than average performance from them.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. So nice to have you along with us. My name is Reamer. That's Robert Grieve. And as always, we welcome you to these episodes every single Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. in the Mountain Standard Time Zone. That's where we are here, a suburb of Denver. But wherever you are, we want you to know we are genuinely appreciative of you joining us. And I think we're going to ask you to share this one because, we got some crazy stuff for you today. If you're a first timer here, again, welcome. Do us a favor if you would, please. Use that thumbs up button and let us know that you appreciate the content that we put out here for you. It's always guest focused or customer focused for you, the driving public. This is not necessarily an industry piece. But as we've discovered, Rob, the industry likes to jump in, and we get a lot of comments back and forth with that.
Truly enjoy them, too.
And then always, if you want to join us for the premieres of these videos, the first time it airs at 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning, Rob and I are here, and we are typing and interacting with those who are watching that first preview live. So you're always welcome to join us.
Thanks for joining us.
We do appreciate it. All right, with that being said, Rob, happy Saturday to you.
To you, my dear friends.
To you.
Welcome, and thank you again for tuning in.
You've been a busy boy.
Yeah.
This is a case of I wish we didn't have to hear this again.
This is every day.
It is
every day. And there's less and less time to accomplish these types of things. And I think people know it and are trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and by people that know and trying to take advantage of it, you're talking about in our stories, we peel back the layers of this. The people who know are trying to take advantage of that is the insurance adjuster and the company that he stands behind.
All true.
All right.
All true.
So let's start with what's going on.
Well, let's see. I got so much paper over here.
Yeah, there's a mountain of paperwork here.
So we had a Lexus come in, and it was a rear bumper, replaced the rear bumper, and it had a dent in the quarter panel. But the dent in the quarter panel couldn't really see because the bumper cover does what it's supposed to do. It covers.
Yes.
And it was covering the damage. Once you take the bumper cover off, now you see that the quarter panel is smashed in, and it's smashed in right on the blind spot monitor, which attaches to a blind spot monitor bracket.
Yes.
That's welded to the quarter panel.
It's there for a reason, to provide structure for that monitor, which goes at a specific angle in order to work properly. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. It has to be exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So.
And I imagine, if you watched our video last week, you hear us talking about calibrations and the necessity of calibrations. I imagine that a calibration is what makes that thing work properly.
Yeah, it tells the computer that it's where it's supposed to be.
Right.
And we put up stands and targets and measure and all the rest of this and activate it, and it looks at the target and it says, yes, I see the target, or not so much. And,
and we make adjustments.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the thing, folks. Insurance has gotten difficult. If you have an average everyday insurance company, you expect less than average performance from them.
It's a nice way of saying that.
Yeah. It's disheartening. And I had this conversation with the guest this morning. I am so sorry that they have to go through all this. But this is the company you chose. I didn't choose that company. I'm here for one reason, and that's to make sure you're safe and the car is repaired properly and given back to you with as much of its intrinsic value as possible.
Right.
And operating as designed
Yes.
and safe. That's my part of this.
Okay. Yep.
And we send in all that, our repair plan outlining and with lots of line notes, meaning if it says repair the blind spot bracket, we put underneath there, a Lexus or Toyota procedure
Yes.
that it takes for doing that.
So you cite
Cite
from the procedures of
Yep.
the manufacturer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And incredible amount of tools necessary that are very specialized for this blind spot monitor bracket. You have to get this tool from Toyota.
Yeah.
That's where you get the tool from. And it helps you get that bracket exactly where it needs to be to hold the blind spot monitor before you put the bumper on and try to do the calibrations.
This
Because
sounds,
if not, then you got to take the bumper back off and try to figure out what's wrong with the bracket.
right.
And
This sounds like an open and shut case. This is easy, right?
yeah. So we sent in what we call a supplement. So the insurance company writes their initial, or we write the initial, and then as the car is disassembled and additional damage is found, or whatever the case may be, we send in what's called a supplement.
Yes.
It's the other stuff that needs to be done in addition to the first stuff identified.
It's kind of like discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we sent in that supplement on May 16th
Okay.
to the adjuster, and he responded. This supplement has been assigned for review. I will complete by end of day 5/26.
May 26th. Now, I'm not a math wizard, and neither, as I'm fond of saying, am I the brightest bulb in the knife drawer, but that sounds like 10 days to review. That sounds like a delay.
Yeah, and it's definitely a delay, an unwarranted one. If the insurance company has not staffed their place properly, that's not your fault as a consumer. That's their fault, because you're not paying any less because they don't have the adequate amount of staff to handle the claims.
Gotcha.
So,
And we don't know that that's necessarily the situation, whether they were understaffed or not. It could be any number of reasons.
it could be any number of reasons, but that is outrageous.
Yes.
10 days. And then this is what happens, folks. 10 days later, I think we actually got it a day or two before that because the guest called and...
I think, now, you are privy to the entire breadth of this story,
Yeah.
and I'm not, but I have been witness to you spending the last 5 or 6 hours in your office replying to the
This
rest of the
adjuster.
story.
Yeah.
And if you can come up with any other suggestion other than this is an intentional delay and deny tactic.
So here's the thing. Let's just call it 8 days later. I'm not sure exactly if it's 8 or it's 10 or whatever
Okay.
the case. He said 10 days. Here we are today.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10 days later, he sends back a supplement that is still short $3,000. Now, the whole job is $7,000.
So it's short like 40%.
Yeah. Yeah. But then he attaches this nice long letter of things that he would need in order to consider other items that are on the estimates.
You described this.
Proof.
Yeah. You described this as a nice long letter. Somehow, you are a wordsmith in many ways, but I think you missed it on this one. That is
Yeah.
also intentional.
Yeah,
He gave you a laundry list of things
he did.
that you needed to prove in order to
In order for him to reimburse the guest,
to consider reimbursing the
consider reimbursing the guest And sometimes they want this information just to say, no, we don't think that's necessary anyway. So,
Right.
He came back with a little bit, but now here we are 10 days later, 8, 9, 10 days later,
Yeah.
and we're really not very much further ahead. Meanwhile, the car's done. The car's complete, and guest can't have the car
Because we only do it one way.
unless the guest wants to pay for the whole thing. But why would the guest want to pay for the whole thing when she has insurance to begin with that's supposed to be covering it and indemnifying her?
Yeah.
So let me just hit a couple of the high notes.
Okay.
It starts out with parts and labor differences. Aftermarket parts sourced per policy will need documentation in the form of viable no quotes, etc.
What's your answer to that?
My answer to that is we don't use these substandard parts in our repairs. He goes on to say that because a Lexus bumper from Lexus comes in unprimed and has to have, it's raw urethane. So there's a raw urethane prep process
Yes.
that involves several different chemicals and sponges and scrubs and so on and so forth to get the release mold off of it.
Yeah.
Because the way these are made is there's a mold, they spray some stuff in there like Pam, they pour the goo in there, they heat it up, and out pops a bumper, but it's got all this Pam all over it, and you can't paint on top of the Pam.
You heard it here first. They pour the goo in on
Yeah.
top of the Pam, and we need to get rid of Pam before we get the goo prepped for paint.
Yeah.
Got it.
And he said he would need additional documentation that the aftermarket cover does not come sealed, which an aftermarket bumper does come sealed, but who knows the origin of that paint that we're painting over top of.
That's irrelevant because we're not using an aftermarket bumper.
We're not using an aftermarket bumper.
Just trying to keep things on track.
But I did help him just a little bit because I did a simple Google search.
Is that what that looks
Yep.
like? That's a
Simple
Google search.
I'm not even looking at the keys.
Okay.
A simple Google search, and I looked up LKQ Keystone, where they get these crappy parts from. And sure enough, the part number that he cited on the estimate says this part is no longer available.
So
So I needed to do that.
he's sourcing
Something that's not
something
available.
that's not available,
Right.
and you need to prove that that thing that's not available is good to use.
And delaying the claim by trying to use a crappy part that isn't available. Not to mention all the sensors that are involved in this, the blind spot monitors that look through this bumper,
Yeah.
and it holds all the other sensor, park assist sensors.
Sure.
And we want to put a part on there that's unknown.
By we, he's talking about them, not
Yes,
us.
not me.
Yeah. Just say no
Yeah.
to cheap, off the shelf, off the rack.
Yeah, we're not using it.
insurance. What's next?
Oh, it's so petty. Seam sealer. We have to seam seal around, different things,
To prevent corrosion.
prevent corrosion, and we have to remove that in order to repair areas.
Sure.
So then we need to put it back, just the way Lexus had it.
That makes sense to me.
And he says seam sealer requires invoice for difference in material cost. Labor was approved.
Oh.
So we had $21.55 for seam sealer, the part, and he had $15. And I need to provide him an invoice
For $6.
to get the difference. It takes longer to go find the stuff, and
There's an old phrase that says death by 1,000 cuts.
right,
And it feels like they're trying to use their paper and cut you down.
yeah. Pre and post repair scans, he's got it at 0.5 mechanical.
Those are hours to be paid.
Yep, and ours are an hour at mechanical each. So sorry. We have an incredibly expensive tool that we use to scan. We have an incredibly expensive person that does the scanning and reads the scans and interprets the scans.
Well, but Rob, this is your business.
And well educated.
Yeah. This is your business, your company,
Yeah.
right? And you didn't have to ask this adjuster if you could buy that.
No.
You don't have to ask him what you should charge.
No.
This is what you charge. This
Yep.
is how it works.
Yep. And by the way, it was only a year ago they were paying an hour. But somehow the time got cut in half and the industry said okay. So those people that are doing it for the half hour are probably not using the right equipment or
Partnered with the wrong insurance company.
Yeah, it's bad. So not only is the tool expensive, but you have to have a subscription for the tool, annual subscription.
Sure.
That's another $1,600 just for the subscription. It's no. Oh yeah. Measure left blind spot monitor mount bracket. They paid it at body rate instead of the technical mechanical rate. I don't know why. Maybe he knows. I don't know. I mean, it takes incredibly, again, expensive equipment that most people don't even have.
Is the body rate less expensive to them?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's why.
Yeah. We'll give it to you, but we're going to give it to you at body. No. You're not giving me anything. You're shorting the guest.
That's right.
Not me. So it takes specialized equipment and tools and education and training in order to do this. The sad part is most body shops will get it as close as they think, slap the thing on, and
Good luck.
basically good luck. The computer does not know if it is aligned properly or not. It knows if it's communicating.
Right. Knows if it's plugged in.
It knows if it's plugged in. It does
Yeah.
not know if it's pointing this way or this way or this way. It does not know that. But what will know that is when you aren't protected by the alarms that it's designed to set off.
Right.
If there's a car coming up on you and you're starting to move over, the beep beep beep, the little light goes on, all the rest of that. If it's pointed in the wrong direction, it's not going to work properly. Sorry. And it takes expensive equipment and knowledge in order to fix these things.
Sure.
I'm guessing he doesn't understand that. This was a good one. Operations that require further documentation for inclusion in a loss of this type.
A loss of this
I
type.
wonder what kind of a type this is.
Sounded like a bumper job.
It's a bumper and repair quarter.
panel.
Yeah. Replace ICS label, $7.27. Need a photo of the label. The car is repaired.
It's done.
The label is on the inside of the bumper that is on the vehicle. If I were to take the bumper back off the vehicle,
There's another charge for that, isn't there?
there's another charge for that. But in addition, now all the calibrations have to be done again.
You got to be a special
Yeah.
person.
Yep. So what did Rob do? And I only did this for the guest. I have no obligation to go through these hoops. The only obligation is to try to help the guest, because the guest does not know the vernacular of what we're talking about.
Right.
Chris does, the adjuster on this thing.
Yeah.
He knows,
Shame.
but he's going to put everybody through the ringer first.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. So what does Rob do? Rob goes through the garbage, find the old bumper, snap a picture of the sticker, send him a picture of the sticker.
I'm so sorry that I did not get a picture of Rob in the dumpster. That would have been good for you, especially for those of you who watch every Saturday morning. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And this is all for a $7.27 sticker. That must be very meaningful to him.
You got to prove that you paid for it.
I sent him an invoice with the part on it.
That's not proof. It's not a picture.
Yeah.
He only reads it for the articles, though.
Then he talks about some protectors that he didn't see an invoice for. And what did he say? It's really interesting. Replace bumper seal, $12.18, so there's two of them, it's $6 and change. Need photos of item and invoice. Per Lexus, part number is for hood hole seal. Now, remember, we're fixing the rear of the car, the rear bumper and the quarter panel.
Right.
and he's questioning because it comes up as a hood sticker. So he thinks he's got me. He thinks he's got me. Thinks he's got me.
Oh. Has he got you?
Lying.
Did you lie?
No.
Oh.
No. These are clear protectors that go in the rear bumper cover. They're like little clear bras about this big.
Yep.
And it's when you pull the tailgate down, the stoppers rest on them and rub against these little protectors rather than the paint.
No metal on metal.
So I took a picture of the old bumper with the protectors and the new bumper with the protectors. We happen to stock these, so I didn't order them. I don't have an invoice for them because this is something that we replace all the time. By the way, they're used on the hood and in the doors and all over the
Wherever
place.
there are moving parts and potential for metal against metal.
So the hood, when you open up the hood, you look up there, there's two little white stickers. They go right where your hood stops are. So when you put the hood down, they hit and they're not rubbing on the paint.
Check your car.
Yep.
Go ahead. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Pause.
It gets so much better. And I don't want to drag this out, but it's...
It'd be great if you shared this video right now. Just click the link, send it over to your socials.
At least like it, please.
That too.
In-house pre-alignment. Why was an alignment required? No impact to the wheel or suspension.
Rob, what's your answer to that?
Anyone that has any knowledge of calibrating vehicles know you need to verify the wheel alignment is in spec prior to doing calibration. The wheel alignment's not in spec and you're calibrating the car using all that information. It's not going to calibrate properly.
Hold on. Hold everything, though. What was your source? I mean, did you just make that up? What was your source when you said that?
Let me finish reading my response.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Okay, here's my response. Anyone that has any knowledge of calibrating vehicles knows you need to verify the wheel alignment is in spec prior to doing the calibrations. It's even mentioned in a recent report produced by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, otherwise known as IIHS,
Last video.
dated 2/23. I believe Travelers is a sponsor of this organization.
Well, now.
SRS airbag inspections. Why is an inspection needed? Pre-scan should confirm any related items needed. Well, that's only partly true. If there are what we call diagnostic trouble codes for airbag system stuff, they would come up in the pre-scan. But many of these airbag parts, whether they're seat belts or the actual airbags themselves, will get extremely hot if they're getting ready to pre-deploy. And you need to check these connections and make sure there's no burning and all the rest. There's a lot that has to be inspected on an airbag inspection.
All right.
And I sent him the procedure that says that has to be done.
Okay.
It states on page 5, conditions when inspections of an SRS part is necessary. When the vehicle is damaged in a collision. Even if the SRS parts are not deployed, or when SRS system DTCs are output. So if
there's a collision,
it says right there, if it was damaged in a collision, you have to do airbag inspection. We send it to the dealer to have this airbag inspection done.
does the dealer charge you for that?
Yes, they do.
Oh.
Yes, they do. Reinitialize the tailgate. Tailgate's not impacted. You have to reinitialize the tailgate as part of an initialization after you've disconnected the battery.
We've talked about that.
Yep. And I cite the procedures necessary when battery terminal is disconnected or reconnected. Memorize steering angle, neutral point is one of them. Intelligent clearance sonar system is another thing. And it goes on. Power door lock control, reset back door, close position, power lock door system.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
And subsequently, all has to be reinitialized and addressed.
By the way, he could get this information the same way we get it. Why is it on me to find that? How come he's not working for the guest? If he's got questions on these things, you could probably find them with simple Google searches. But we don't. We go to the manufacturer's page and look up the operations. So I'm going to jump through some other things here. He didn't want to pay for the OEM to look up the OEM procedures, and asked me what procedures we looked up and what did we find, and I want copies and all the rest of that.
Mm-hmm.
No. But what we did provide is line notes, like if it says replace X,
Yep.
underneath there will be the procedure number for Toyota on how to replace X and what's required to do so.
Right.
So I've already given him a heads up. Here's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Go subscribe to the thing and get it, because that's what I have to do.
Right.
So have at it.
It seems reasonable.
Yeah. Road test, wants documentation. I mean, the thing goes on and on and on. I mean, there's pages.
Yeah, there really are.
There's pages of stuff, and most of it is just delay tactics.
What's the takeaway here, Rob? What we do these for you, the driving public, and we believe, we not just believe, this is a daily grind here and at other shops that are responsible for performing the correct repairs.
Yep.
There are
It's nothing but a delay tactic.
There are many other shops that don't have the angst that we have because they signed an agreement with the insurance companies, including the one in question, that says, you tell us what to do and we will do it without complaining because you're sending us business.
That happens all the time.
They never send us business. People
do not. They do everything they can not to get people to come here.
People choose to come to our establishment as well as those who choose to do the right repair.
Yeah.
But it is an never-ending grind.
But some insurance companies are worse than others.
It's true.
And this is one of the way worst ones.
Yeah. I'm going to address the noise on. If you can, I don't know if you can hear it or not on this video. I'll do my best to reduce that sound. But we just got a big thunderstorm coming overhead, so it's getting loud in here.
Ugh. Anyway, it's important to pick the right insurer. This insurer, the one to use the aftermarket parts, great, whatever. Most insurance companies that you would recognize their name want to do that too.
Yeah, the ones who advertise on TV typically want to go the cheapest route.
Yeah, and if that's the case, ask them if they have an OEM rider. It's like $60 a year. Means they have to put OEM parts on your car. You're paying a little more premium. If you need it down the road, it more than pays for itself because they have to put OEM parts on the car.
Yeah.
This particular company, I do not believe, has that option. So that's a telltale right there.
Heads up.
That's a telltale. These people are trying to just drag this guest through the mud. This car's been ready since Monday. She's not even going to get it by next Monday. Waiting for this to get all figured out.
Yeah.
And getting the right insurance is really, really important.
You bet.
And I wish I could read some of the emails going back and forth. It's ferocious between the guest and even the supervisor. I mean, what would you think of a supervisor that says, again, I explained to you how this was going to go. Does that seem friendly to you? Does that seem like that's the supervisor telling his policy owner,
Yep.
I told you how this was going to go. You're the one that picked them.
They are.
You don't want that email.
They're not looking. You don't want that insurer.
No.
They're not looking out for you. All right, Rob. Well, there's
I
a
think
lot.
we better
here.
wrap it up here.
Yeah, the roof is coming down. It's not coming down, but the rain is. And so I want to say thank you for your time.
Yeah, sorry, folks. You have an amazing week. We'll see you next Saturday. Peace out.